What's going on, everybody? It's SVT Vasquez back at it with another video, back at it with another banger, man. In this video, we're going to be talking about my home theater setup. Let's start the show. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. And with that being said, let's get started on today's show. Today I want to talk about my home theater setup. If you guys saw my previous video, I just purchased the new home, and with having my own space now, I was able to purchase a home theater setup. Now, when I started looking into buying a home theater, I started only looking at sound bars. I thought sound bars sounded pretty good. I went to Best Buy or Costco and hit the demo button, and they're pretty loud. As I did my research, trying to find the best sound bar that fit my needs, and the reason that I chose to go with a home theater system was because I saw a YouTuber saying that any home theater speaker system is going to be way better than any home theater soundbar system. And this is very true because you have a much bigger listening space because the speakers are separated as a center channel, the left and right channels, and you have rear speakers. So it's going to give you a much more immersive sound atmosphere than a soundbar would give you. So that's why I started looking into home theater speaker systems instead of soundbars. Not to say that soundbars aren't great, because they are, and they do serve a purpose. And because my home space is an open concept space, I do have a much bigger area to fill with the sound. So I figured soundbar is not going to really give me that atmosphere that I'm looking for. So for you, it might be different. For you, a soundbar might fill your apartment space, for example, and give you a great sound and a great quality for your space. Now, with that being said, to give you some kind of a footprint on how big these speakers are, I always wondered watching the video, how much space is it going to take in my living space? So for example, I'm 5'6", 150 pounds. To give you an example of the size of the speaker, how it stands, and the footprint it takes, this TV is a 77-inch TV, so you could kind of give a rough estimate on how big the speakers are, from the towers to the subwoofer to the center channel, and see if it's gonna be able to fit in a space where you live at. So the speakers are actually a decent size. If for some reason my system or setup looks small, is because I do have a really big wall. Like I said, this is an open concept space home. So my setup might look a little bit small to you, but just for a reference, I told you guys that I'm 5'6", 150 pounds, just so you could compare the size of the speakers to the room I'm in. So let's get started with the center channel. The center channel is great. Whenever I listen to movies, the dialogue sounds clear and crisp. I don't have to turn up the volume anymore just to hear what the people are saying. It gives you a great experience with the tweeter and the speakers. So the center channel is great. The left and right towers, they're almost like the center channel, but they're just a little bigger. So again, the sound quality is great. The tower speakers do have Dolby Atmos speakers up top. So those are actually angled speakers that are meant to bounce off the ceiling and come down so that it sounds like there's sound coming from the ceiling. Now, I don't have a reference point, since this is my first home theater setup, to say these actually do work or they're a gimmick. I really don't have anything to compare it to tell you guys if it works or not. But as far as the left and right tower speakers sound, I tell you they sound great, and they're great for my space. I have a really large space, and I don't find myself turning up the volume too loud. They do the job great. Some of the guests I have over have actually told me to turn it down a bit, even though I don't have the system at full blast. It is a pretty loud system, so if you have guests over trying to talk, it gets pretty loud. So I say it's a pretty good sounding system. It doesn't have any distortion or any noise. I usually have it at 30 to the 40 level range for the AV receiver, and it doesn't give me any issues. As far as my receiver, it's not really a budget receiver. There are budget receivers out there for you guys that just want to stay in a budget. But I went with a little bit higher price receiver just because this receiver had great reviews online. People spoke highly of this receiver, and it is a 4K 60 frames per second receiver, and that's all you really need when it comes to watching movies, and that's all I really wanted my home theater speakers for, is to watch movies, not for gaming. There are new receivers out there for gaming that give you 120 frames per second, but I heard they're having issues with those receivers, and I didn't really want to go into uncharted territory. I wanted something that's going to be vouched for and it's going to be tried and true. So that's why I chose the STR DN 1080 receiver from Sony, and so far it's been a great receiver for me. Very user friendly and easy to use, especially someone like myself that's new to this whole home theater setup. Now, as far as the rear left and right speakers, they actually have brought the whole package together and gave my setup a whole different experience. Now, when you go to the movie theaters, you do have speakers all around you, and they are pretty loud and you get a different experience, but at having a home theater system, the speakers are a lot closer to you, and it's a way different feeling. Actually, I think it's a way more immersive feeling because the speakers are angled at you personally, not at a whole home movie theater. At your home theater, they're just focused on you, and you get the whole experience of the speakers. With that being said, I have watched scary movies that, for example, Countdown, the movie Countdown, where there's an app that tells you when you're gonna die, and it tells you how many days or how many years, for example. In that movie, there's a scene where the guy's in the bathroom and he hears a ghost in the bathroom there with him, and it's talking to him and it's whispering. And for example, I heard it on my rear right speaker and it sounded like someone was right there. It gave me chills down my neck, and I felt like there was someone behind me to the point where I had to actually look behind me to see if there was anybody there, realizing, oh, it's just the speaker and it's part of the movie. Okay guys, so with that being said, with the rear side speakers giving you a more immersive surround sound than you would with a single sound bar, I'm going to tell you some of the things that other people don't say about having your home theater surround speakers. So the one thing that I notice is whenever I play certain music, depending on where it's coming from, for example, on my phone, you don't get all speakers playing. So the content that's coming out of the speaker is going to depend highly on the content that you're feeding the receiver. For example, guys, you could play a Blu-ray and it could have a way different sound than if you play a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. So the difference is going to be in the audio mixes. For example, I watch sports on my TV, and it's not going to give you a Dolby surround output because regular sports are going to have a 2 stereo type output. So whenever I'm playing sports, for example, football, soccer, anything like that, basketball, only the tower speakers are the ones that are putting out audio because that's the output that's coming out of what the TV's receiving. So not everything's going to be surround sound. Not all your music is going to be Dolby surround sound. Not all the speakers are going to be playing, depending on what your receiver is being fed. When I started listening to music, I was like, why is my rear speakers not playing any music, but my front speakers are playing music fine? But I didn't realize that it's the output that the receiver's receiving. It's not a Dolby surround. It's not calibrated for Dolby surround. You have to have the Dolby surround content to be able to take advantage of all the speakers. So not all the speakers are going to play for any content that you put into your home theater system. Keep that in mind. And with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a demo of what the speakers sound like, playing one of the favorite clips that I enjoy playing. Sometimes I just play it just to enjoy my speakers. Scene from Ready Player One, it's where they get the first key, and that has very great audio to display the surround system. So let's get started and I'll show you what that sounds like. Also guys, one last thing before I show you guys what that sounds like on my system. These Costco speakers do come with front covers, so these are magnetic, so you could just peel it off and then you could cover the whole look so it looks more stealthy looking. If you don't want your speakers to show, you just put the cover on, and they all come with that. The only one that's not going to come with a magnetic one is your subwoofer. That one has a different type, but it's still easy to put on. But with that said, let's just get started and show you guys the clip.
First to the T.
First to the egg.
No, not the bike. Forget the bike. The girl. I think it's Artemis.
The Artemis? The Sixer Fixer?
I've seen all her walkthroughs, her Twitch streams. It's her. It's definitely her. She's not gonna make it. Bail! Bail out! Bail!
I'm just all about this money, I don't think about no thoughts. Girl, you don't know about me, so get off my fucking D. Born and raised in the dot, this is real as you gon' see. Girl, you don't know about me, so get off my fucking D.